Oh wow, I'm back. A day after I said that I would start making. Did I say I would start making videos? I'm not sure, but I'm back and I have a video. And this one is actually pertaining to a topic that I have wanted to discuss for a very long time. Both Marco and I strongly disagree about, so there will be some good content in the future regarding it. But I was watching a video regarding it, and as you can tell, the title gives it away. This is about The Last Jedi, Star Wars The Last Jedi, not to be confused with Indiana Jones, The Last Jedi, and of course Back to the Future, The Last Jedi. And I just sort of had a thought regarding the characterization of Luke. And now, there's many aspects of how they executed his character that I wasn't particularly fond of. But this is actually an issue that sort of expands into both installments of the sequel trilogy, which is J.J. Abrams' Force Awakens in 2015, and then, of course, Rian Johnson's in 2018. And the problem is that Luke is just a plot tool. He's just a plot tool. He's there. He exists solely to move the plot forward and service it. In fact, in the second movie, he's literally just a MacGuffin. He's the map to Luke. We need the map to Luke. Or no, it's the first movie. That's the first one. Okay, second one, same situation though. In the same situation in the sense that, oh, Luke is the key to defeating the First Order. If we get Luke, First Order's done. There's really no explanation as to how he can defeat them. It's just that he's a symbol. You know, that's what Rey and everyone's trying to entice him back to the Resistance, which is what they're called. But they're called the Rebels by many people because even Rian Johnson wrote Resistance and Rebels multiple times, interswitching in The Last Jedi. We won't get into it. We won't get into it now. But in The Last Jedi, Luke's character is mainly, oh, please come back, you'll defeat the First Order magically. And he even points that out by saying, what am I going to do, stare down the First Order with a what? It's laser sword. Sorry, I don't know why I blanked on that. And that's the ironic thing is that's exactly what he does. But what would have been somewhat more interesting, that I think would have given a lot of development to the characters that Disney and Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams have introduced, is if Luke didn't do that. You know, if Luke wasn't able to defeat the First Order. And I mean, granted, he didn't necessarily. It was a hologram. But it allowed them to escape, and so it stalled. Whatever, we can go back and forth. But it would have been interesting to see if what Rey and Finn and Poe and all of them are like, oh my God, Luke's here, he's gonna save us, and then Luke just can't. That puts all the other characters in a position where they now have to shoulder that responsibility. They have to solve the problem themselves. They can't just deflect it onto Luke and say, oh, he's gonna be able to do it for us. This would put them in a position where they have to take charge. You know, they have to take the initiative. And I feel like that would have given a lot of opportunities for development. I mean, for Finn, here's the problem is, like, you have themes that are very replicated between both films in terms of story arcs. Finn's in the first one was, oh, I don't have a cause. At the end, he has a cause. The second one, same situation. Oh, I don't have a cause. I'm trying to escape. And then he comes back and he's about to sacrifice himself. So maybe that logic in terms of having Luke not be able to stop the First Order and then Finn having to step up once more, maybe that wouldn't work. But and then similarly with Poe. Poe does nothing wrong in the Last Jedi, yet he's penalized for it. So, I mean, that would have been another example of disregarding the logic. But sort of just going with the notion of what I'm saying, it would have put the characters in an interesting position from my point of view. Because they spent the entire movie trying to get Luke essentially coming out of retirement to fight the First Order. And I think that would have been a much more interesting choice story-wise if he had come out and then he wasn't able to defeat him. If he had been there. I'm on the fence about the whole hologram thing. Again, there's a lot we can go over eventually. But if he had been there and he wasn't able to defeat them, what position would that put the Resistance in? You know, I just think that'd be interesting and possibly, potentially a better story than what we had at the end. A better ending to that third act. So that's sort of my thoughts. I just, in terms of Luke being a plot tool and just servicing the narrative and really not being the character that we all know and love, I just think that execution, specifically with the ending, could have been done a little bit better. I feel like just in sense for, you know, I feel like it would have been to the betterment of the newer characters if that was what had happened. You know, because you got to think, this whole thing is about passing the torch between the old trilogy and the sequel trilogy. And having Luke be this end-all, be-all, he's going to save us, sort of negates that point. You know, it still places a lot of importance on characters from the old trilogy, rightfully so, from my point of view. But if your whole intention is to really pass the guard and, oh, these are the new heroes, then maybe not have Luke be the sole weapon that could destroy the First Order from the Resistance's point of view. Maybe have their goal be a little bit more flexible in the sense that if Luke wasn't able to defeat the First Order, they would have some alternative. Because it seems like they didn't. You know, they didn't really have an alternative, which sort of pulls into question how much, as an audience member, I can't really put faith in, oh, they're getting the torch, because they can't handle themselves. They still need Luke. You know, like, I don't know. Just my thoughts. Let me know in the comments if you think similarly. We meaning Marco and I, will hopefully discuss The Last Jedi in its totality eventually. But for this video specifically, if you have thoughts regarding Luke being just a plot tool, whether you agree or disagree, let me know. I'm interested in your input. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you cats later.